How's it going, everyone? Coming up on another notable week of new game releases. Maybe not quite as big as some of the recent weeks we've had in February and March, but definitely some games that I keep on the radar. So let's get right into it. Got 7 games to go over, and let's start things off with what I think is the biggest game release of the week, and that is Weird West, coming from Wolfeye Studios, a brand new studio coming from the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey from Arcane Studios, being published by Devolver Digital. This is a very interesting Western action RPG with a big emphasis on its story and narrative. It's a very interesting game, noting discover a dark fantasy reimagining of the Wild West where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with fantastical creatures, journey through the story of a group of atypical heroes written into the legend by the decisions you make in an unforgiving land. Expect quite a bit of decision making in the game. Each journey is unique and tailored to the actions taken, a series of high-stake adventures where everything counts and the world reacts to the choices you make. Form a posse or venture forth alone into an otherworldly confines of the Weird West and make each legend your own. It's a dark fantasy reimagining of the Wild West, and it is a game with a lot of different characters, intertwined destinies, discover the world through origin stories of different characters, moving from one character's journey to the next until all converge in the final chapter of the game. A bespoke experience where each playthrough is a unique as the game tailors the story to the player's actions and past choices for an ideal dramatic arc. Expect the decision making in this game to have consequences, and what you do in the game may end up helping you, or it may end up coming back to haunt you. And it's an immersive sim where Weird West supports different styles of play in a simulated sandbox world where characters, factions, and even places react to a player's decision. The game drops on March 31st. If you're going to be playing it on Xbox or PC, you should be noted that the game is going to be available on Xbox Game Pass. Otherwise, it is more of a budget release at $39.99. Next up, we have a PC title making the transition to PlayStation 4. That is Shattered Tale of the Forgotten King, an action-adventure title noting the old world is gone, lost with the disappearance of the king. Reforge reality in this dark action RPG through skill-based combat, innovative open-world platforming, and the testimonies of survivors, some more trustworthy than others. Are you ready to be the wanderer? The world as it was gone, and with the disappearance of the king as a wanderer of these forsaken lands, it's up to you to piece together the fragments of reality and retrace the fall of civilization. The game notes a new world to discover, monstrous enemies to defeat, a tale 10 years in the making. The universe of Shattered is the culmination of over a decade's worth of imagination and creativity, a story all your own and constant progression throughout the game. The game received a 68 on Metacritic for the PC release, mostly positive on Steam, however, with 400 reviews, 72% positive. Another budget title here at $29.99. Alright, next up, another huge PC release making the transition to PlayStation 4. That is Crusader Kings III. This is a game that got very, very exceptional reviews, a 91 on Metacritic, and obviously it's a game that probably is more associated with PC gaming, given that these grand strategy games are best played over there, but Crusader Kings III will be making its arrival onto PlayStation. It'll be interesting to see how the transition goes, but the game notes love, fight, scheme, and claim greatness. Determine your noble's house's legacy in the sprawling grand strategy of Crusader Kings III. Death is only the beginning as you guide your dynasty's bloodline in the rich and larger-than-life simulation of the Middle Ages. Obviously, this is a game with an incredible amount of replayability, and the decision-making you make is going to have an impact in this one as well. Discover a sprawling simulator world teeming with peasants and knights, spies, and jesters, and secret love affairs. An extensive cast of historical characters can be romanced, betrayed, executed, or subtly influenced. Explore a vast medieval map stretching from the snow-swept Nordic lands to the Horn of Africa and the British Isles in the west to the exotic riches of Burma in the east. Claim, conquer, and rule thousands of unique areas. Each character is larger than life, with traits and lifestyle choices determining their actions and scheme. And of course, with its transition to PlayStation 4, a new audience can also enjoy the game. Do expect this game to be one that, you have to invest some time into to figure it all out. I played the game a little bit on PC. It's not really my cup of tea, but I do know a lot of people are into these styles of games. Crusader Kings III will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on March 29th. Next up, here's a major VR release. If you're into VR games, you'll want to have Moss Book 2 on your radar. Moss was considered to be one of the best PlayStation VR titles. It eventually came to PC as well. And now we have Moss Book 2. Quill is back and she's being hunted. Those who seek to unmake this world are desperate for the glass she holds, and they'll stop at nothing to claw it from her grasp. But the young hero has a plan of her own, one that could finally end the merciless rule of the arcane and restore peace to Moss once more. To stand a chance, Quill will need a true partner by her side, and we hope that partner is you. Obviously, this is a game that has a bit of action, challenging puzzles, enemies twisted in fire and steel, and it's a very charming game. So if you have a VR headset, I mean, this is going to be one that obviously you probably already have on your radar, but Moss Book 2 will be releasing on March 31st. Next up, another PC game making the transition to PlayStation 4, Agent Intercept. This is a vehicular combat title, very arcadey in nature. Agent Intercept is an over-the-top arcade action game where you drive a transforming spy vehicle through exotic locales, perform ridiculous stunts, and blow things up to save the world, and of course you'll do it all in style. The game came at a budget price point on PC at $19.99, 22 Steam user reviews, 81% of those reviews were positive. Dodge enemy fire, mines, and lasers as you perform over-the-top stunts and use the Scepter's high-tech gadgetry to blow up your enemy. Feel like a super spy as you transform the Scepter from car to plane and more, immersed in exotic locations and an original high-energy soundtrack with a new threat around every corner. It'll take all you got to defeat the Claw. Again, high-octane action driving, mission by mission, uncover and foil Claw's evil schemes, take on self-contained side missions to discover unique game mechanics and save the world for another day. Score-chasing elites can attempt to go on the global leaderboards, and you can push the Scepter to its limit in time trial. The game is scheduled for a release on the PlayStation 4 come March 30th. Next up, a horror game that people have been looking forward to for quite a while. Saw a couple delays, but Ikai will finally be coming to PS4 on March 29th. The game notes fear and anxiety prevail after the darkest tales from Japanese folklore come to life in this first-person psychological horror game set in the feudal era. Ikai revolves around a priestess of a shrine struggling to defeat the spirits of her past and her present. Obviously, the game's got quite a bit of puzzles, and it's more of a dark horror game with a psychological flair to it. The game really does invoke the element of horror, with it not being heavy on the action elements. Experience the horror in first person by the hand of Japanese spirits, monsters, and yokai. Exploration will be a big element. Concentrate on drawing protective seals over the strange sounds and events happening around you. Pit your wits against the several puzzles that will try to stop you. Ikai is scheduled for a release on March 29th. And lastly, coming to PlayStation 4, we have In Nightmare, a budget release at $19.99, also getting a physical release, also available on the PlayStation 5. The game notes, hope rests in your dreams. Escape the dark, whimsical dream world that has trapped you. Search the realm for clues and begin to uncovering the truth of your reality. Puzzle through pain. Along your journey, you'll encounter puzzles that will attempt to thwart your progress. Use your wit and your spirit guide to help you overcome anything that gets in your way. Control your dream spirit to assist you as a decoy, and your subconscious creates the monsters you truly fear. And with a budget price point of $19.99, something to keep on your radar coming from Maximum Games. In Nightmare drops March 29th. That is going to do it for me. Again, as far as recent weeks go, last week was a big week of new game releases with Ghostwire Tokyo, Tiny Tina Wonderlands, and on Nintendo Switch, you also had the Kirby title drop. This week, a little bit lighter, but hey, Weird West is a huge release. Crusader Kings III is a pretty big release if you're into those styles of games, and you got Moss Book 2 if you do have a VR headset. A lot of quality stuff this week, but yeah, let me know what you guys are excited for this week. If you're picking anything up, if things are going on the wish list, sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.